Welcome to today's morning shower. So just like we did yesterday, so we'll briefly look at what we did yesterday, so we cannot go into details talking about today. So just like I told you guys, we're expecting the dollar to push higher yesterday. We're expecting dollar to push higher yesterday. So I was expecting dollar to go higher yesterday to rate this particular high here. So then it keep on rejecting on this region here, keep on rejecting there, and later on during I think was it during New York, there's into New York, we saw the market dropping aggressively. The market dropped aggressively. So I actually did not talk about this level here. I did not talk about this level here during morning show because I never expected that market was going to come back to this level before going higher. So I was thinking that okay, probably we might be going higher to rate this higher before we come down for this. So let's look at, okay, so basically now, so we expecting this now to go higher. So the market now rejected of this region, and so later on I get to find out that okay, there is actually imbalance there which market has actually been reacting to, and that was where the market stood up from. So if you watch now, if you observe very well, you see we have something like this now, market creating a higher high here, creating a higher low, then failing to break this high, then went forward to break structure here. So we had an imbalance here, market came back and tapped into it, and what you saw was a massive drop to the downside. So we got back into this region here. So this was where I was able to retake the trades I sent to the Telegram. So when they go back to here, I know definitely we're going to respect this because they have already taken out the previous day's low, and this was New York section. So it was very distinct for them to move higher from this region. So I was able to take a long entry. That's a long entry here from dollar index, expecting market to go higher. So what's my bias on dollar index? So let's go to daily time frame briefly. So now if you look very closely, you see that for consecutively one, 2, 3, 4 consecutively 3 days, that's from Friday, market has just been within this phase, market has just been within this range. We have not gone anywhere above that level. We are just within this range consolidating. So we can actually break out to the downside and we can break out to the upside. We cannot say for sure. We cannot say for sure which side are we going to break out to. So, but considering the economic data that we are looking at today, that there's a high tendency that Fed is going to hike interest rate to 50 BP. So what this simply means is that if there's going to be a hike in interest rate today, definitely we should expect dollar going higher. So this is one of the reasons why I'm expecting dollar to go higher. So now I think the yesterday pullback, was to have some kind of discount area for more long opportunity for institutions now. So I think institutions deliberately did this to get more opportunity for themselves. So they will be looking to take dollar price now a little bit higher. So now if I would want to see something like this, even if we would have a sell. If you watch and I see that dollar has been buying consecutively for a very long period, and there have not been any good pullback since we had this pullback. We have not had any major pullback. So definitely everyone out there is looking out for a pullback. So what I would love to see dollar taking out this side before I will now start looking for pullbacks. So if we can take out this side, I would love to see a pullback back to this region before we can now continue higher. So this is basically what I'm looking out for dollar. So but what we should now be thinking of is, okay, what if since the focus is that we're looking at Fed hiking interest rate by 0.5%. So what if they take it to 1%? What is going to happen to dollars? So that's the major question. And so because nobody knows the actual rate, so we are just in kind of speculating. Everybody is speculating. So everybody has his own view of what he or she thinks that is what. So nobody knows actually what is going to happen. So now looking at this now, I consider all this as being liquidity. I consider all this as being liquidity, which is why I want price to go higher to take them out. So now we already have it that price has consolidated for this morning. So is there any region here we should be looking at price to come down to? Not any good level here. Let's look at 30 minutes to see if we can have. So now we don't have any good level here where I can say, okay, I'll be looking at price to come down to see if we can have a pullback for a long entry. So it's more like what I'm just looking out for is I want to see price just continue going up without giving an entry. So if I can see price continue going up, then definitely, just like I said yesterday, when we take out this side, I'll be looking for opportunity to see if I can get a short opportunity for dollar here. So that is basically what I'm looking out for dollar. So let's see what we have on GBP/USD or Euro USD. So this is Euro USD. This is Euro USD. So yesterday I told you guys that I was on a sell trade here, which I took on Monday during New York session, which I think, let's go to 15. Okay, so I took a sell position here during this pullback here. Took a sell position here on Monday. I was on this sell, so I was holding on to this sell. I only just broke even, so market came back several times. So I was expecting price to come down to take out at least this previous day's low, which is Monday's low, and then we can see if we can actually go for this last week low. So you see, market keep on consolidating, and the next thing we saw during into New York, market shoot higher. So this trade was a break-even trade. So when they took out Monday's high, so I knew that definitely this is, I told you guys right from Monday that this is a pure manipulation week, that you have more of market consolidating than trending. So if you can look very closely now, you see that this is Monday, this is Tuesday. So now if you look very closely now, you see that market has been ranging within this level. It's more like on Monday we opened here, we shoot high, create the high, came to create low. On Tuesday again, we shoot high, back to that high again. So this is just basically what I expected from market this week. So the main volatility into the market today should come by 7 p.m. today. So let's look at the fundamental let's look at the economic calendar. So you see, we have by 8 a.m. we have a Spanish unemployment change, which is going to be restored. We're still going. So now this thing the previous is actually minus 2.9k. So now they're expecting it to drop, to increase to 75.8k. So if this should happen, then that is to say that it's expected that Euro USD should drop. So if this should happen, then this will be a very bad news for Euro USD. So now let's go back to that. So you see, we have the USD on this thing, ADP employment change. So they're expecting it to be positive. So the forecast is that it should drop to 382. Then now we have USD ICI PMI, so which is 58.3. They're expecting it to increase by 58.5. Then now you see the previous fund rate, which is the FMC, was 0.50. That was they hiked it by 0.50. So they're expecting to hike again by another by 1%. That is what these people now are forecasting, that they should hike by 1%, but everybody is saying that they are going to hike it by 0.5 again. So now I'm not saying, okay, what if they should give us 1% hike, which is one thing you should notice that, so this news is expected to come back by 7 p.m. tonight. So that is when I'm expecting the market to have volatility. So now if peradventure, if they should hike this by 1%, definitely we are going to have a lot of volatility in the market, because it's going to take people unaware. So now looking at EU now, so the unemployment rate is going to come out today. So what are the things now if you look at EU? Basically, market is consolidating quite well, but how can we be able to trade this market to make money off it? That is the question everybody will keep on asking. So now at some point now, if you notice, you see that when they created this low yesterday, failed to break this low. So now it was more like, okay, fine, price made some kind of consolidation all throughout. Then we broke up to the upside, breaking structure, right? That's what it looks like. Then are we going to break this low, or are we going to bounce off around this region? That is what we don't know. Are we going to bounce off around this region and go back? That is what we don't know. So, but one thing I know for sure is that Wednesdays are always two-sided markets. Wednesdays are always two-sided markets. So I'm giving you guys this as an expo. So go and backtest Wednesdays. Always on Wednesdays, market will always buy and sell. So now, before we talk about this, I think I need to explain reasons to why I took a short position later on EU again. After, okay, remember we talked about selling EU somewhere around here. So now during this London section here, I did not place any limit entry here because when I checked, it did not meet up with my criteria, so I had to leave it. So you see, it went all the way above that level. So now, how did I later cut EU sell? So now, if you watch now, you see that we have already taken our previous day's high. So definitely, there's a high tendency that even if we are not going to sell to take out this liquidity, we need to sell to fill up this void here. We need to sell to fill up this void here. So going down to 5 minutes. Going down to 5 minutes, you will see how immediately they took out the high. We changed pattern immediately. We started having lower highs and lower lows. So I think I took my entry somewhere around there. Then ride it all the way down. So I just closed my positions this morning because I think the market would likely buy this morning before we have continuation of sell. That is what I feel like. So now looking at today, you see we already have market consolidating already. So let's see what the market did in the consolidation phase. So all this phase now I just highlighted now is the region whereby the market has consolidated. So now you see now the market is more like it moved down lower to clear this low created yesterday during the New York close now. So now I think at some point now I would give this benefit of doubts because I told you guys Wednesdays are two-sided market. Assuming price got into this region here, assuming price tapped into this region here, I think it would have been opportunity to buy due to the fact that it has a very very low risk. I think this is about 6 pip, right? So now if I'm to see a buy here, I would want to take it back to this level. So I would not be targeting much. I'll just target 30 pips. That's above the Asian high. Why am I targeting above the Asian high? Reasons to that is that we're on a bearish market order flow. So definitely this is more like a counter trend. So more like I want to see market coming back to take out this expansion here. Then maybe stock up long position, then target this level, then I'm done. So it's more like, okay, fine, I'm anticipating this market now to see if we are going to have some kind of pullback for continuation to the downside. So if we're going to have some kind of pullback for continuation to the downside, so it's more like I'm looking at all these lows now to be taken out. So but we don't know for sure. It all depends on what the USD Federal Reserve is going to do today. So the market might likely continue consolidating all throughout the day. It's very very possible the market might likely consolidate all throughout the whole day. So this kind of week is not the week you rush into the market to make kind of huge profits. So this kind of week you are just risking very very little and just trying to protect your capital. You don't over leverage in this kind of week, so you guys should take note of that. So now basically looking at Euro USD, if we can have price coming into this region by London open, I would look for buy opportunity owing to the fact that it gives me it gives me a very very low a low risk and a very very high reward. So I think this is going to give me about 1:4, 1:3. So if I can have something around 1.05050, if I can have something around that region here, then I'm having my stop loss just below it. Then I'm going to be targeting this I think this is 1:5. So you see, this is a very good trade. So this is 1:5. So nothing much to just risk 5 pips to make 30 pips and you're out of the market, and that's it. So this is basically what I'm looking out for Euro USD this morning. So what's the reason to this trade? You see, we have market took out liquidity here, went to create a lower high, failed to break this high, right? Then we came down lower, failed to break lower, then we broke to the high. So this is a valid region for us to buy, so just take it that. So no much explanation to be given on reason to that. So let's look at GBP USD to see possible reasons of what we can see on that. So here on GBP USD, so yesterday, so let's look at yesterday briefly. So yesterday we had it, the market took out these equal highs. Then I told you guys I was going to sell here, which is 1.0280. Yeah, 1.0280, 1.25280, pardon me. Good. So now we sold here, and I had a stop loss above this high, which is about 13.7 pips, right? If you guys remember, so you can go back to watch it. So now you see market picked us very snipe entry, nice one. We ran into about 22 pips before the market reversed. So this was a break-even trade for me. So this was a very break-even trade for me, because that's just my risk management rule. Once my trade goes into 20 pips, I break even, then I allow the trade to run. So I did not take any partial. So this was how this trade went. So now later on during London section, I saw that okay, fine, this market has been going higher. So I tried to check back. So I noticed they were trying to fill up some regions on this previous day's level here. So during New York now, I was able to take a long opportunity. So how did I take that? When they took out this high created during the London section, so notice something again. They try to kind of retest this broken structure, right? Making normal retail traders now to go into a long position, feeling that the market is going to continue printing higher lows. So if you notice something now, they failed to break their high and to drop. You see that they dropped. So now on the retest here, now this was where I engaged, this was where I sold from, having my stop loss above this week. So you see, this was all this. So I just closed up this trade not just a few minutes ago, no long ago, before this morning shower, because just like I told you guys, I'm expecting EU and GU to have some kind of buy this morning before we continue this out. So I'm not willing to hold on to that. So now let's look at today. So what are we basically looking at today? So basically for me, why I was expecting to see if this could actually come down to take out this low, but market is slowing down. And if you watch now, you see that this is yesterday, this is day before yesterday, this is yesterday. So you notice market is more like consolidating. Market is not trending. Market is just in a particular phase. Can you guys see that the market is just in a particular phase, it's not trending? So this is just this week for you. So now if you watch now, we have a previous day's low here, right? We have yesterday's low, that is day before yesterday's low, and yesterday's low, creating an equal low. Good. So now why I exited my trade was because we have it, the market has taken out that region. So you see, market has taken it out. So there's a tendency the market can continue going higher. Then aside that, again, if you observe something, you notice that this market is just compressing, like it's not even moving. Like I don't like it when market is just kind of slowing down. So the momentum is slowing down. So there's a tendency that we'll have another shoot to the upside again before continue to the downside. That is, if we're going to continue to the downside. So there are tendencies that we're going to have another shoot to the downside. So now we just finished the consolidation phase. Now. So what we should be looking out for now is to have an expansion to the downside. So let's see if we can have an expansion to the downside, taking out this very well. Then I think we should be looking for buy opportunities somewhere here. Let's see how the market reacts somewhere around this region here. Then if we can get a good buy opportunity, then we would look to long GBP USD. We'll be looking to long GBP USD to see if we can take it. Let's say if we can take it to somewhere around this region, that is coming back to somewhere around this region, then that's just basically what I'm looking at for. So I don't have any good level here where I can actually pinpoint. So what I will be doing basically is just to wait for a London section to open and to see market reaction. Then based on market reaction, I will be able to pick up my entry. So that's this. That's just what I'm looking out for on the GPS. Remember, the if we are getting a buy, it's just in kind of a short pull, is a counter trend trade, so you don't risk much on it. I've told you guys, don't risk much this week. This week is just more of the week you keep on protecting your capital. You don't tend to expose your capital to the market, because market probabilities is very, very low this period. So hopefully for next week everything should be stabilized. So let's look at next pair here. So this is gold. So let's look at gold. So yes, yesterday I told you guys that I would love to see if gold could. This was during morning shower. I think morning shower was somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere around here. So I said I wanted to see if gold can continue pushing higher into this region. That if gold could come into this region, I'll be looking for short opportunity here on gold. Right? That was what I told you guys. So you see, so gold now did what? Gold continued going lower. Then when it took out this previous day's low, so now what did I do? It's very easy. Whenever a previous day's low is taken out, so we know what to do with that. So now during New York section, I was able to get this. This came during New York section. This is a textbook setup for us. My students know about it. So you had a very good break of structure. The market came back, then gave a very, very nice risk to reward trade. This is about 200 pips trade. So we call this 200 pips trade. This gave me 200 pips. I caught good here. Gave me 200 pips. So now you see market came into that level. You see, gave a nice sell entry. So if you would have waited patiently and followed the instruction I gave, if you go down to 5 minutes here or even 3 minutes, you would have been able to catch good sell. So you see, when the market came into this region here, if you are monitoring very, very closely, you see when it created this high, came back this low, then failed to go higher than this side. That is when you start monitoring. Then came down to now do what? Break it. Then this is where your entry comes. Now this is where your entry comes. Do you see that? Continued. Do you see? Continued going lower and lower and lower and lower. So now if you would have picked your entry here, and rided it all the way to here, this is about 100 pips. So that's just it for gold. So what am I seeing on gold now? I'm still seeing gold trying to buy. I'm seeing gold trying to buy this money. So if you see now, you see that gold just ran out its Asian low. Gold just ran out its Asian low. So mind you, all these are counter trend trades. So you don't risk on it. I've told you guys, don't risk this period of the time. Try to protect your capital. So you see, we have a counter. We have a Asian low taken out. Then we have structure being broken here. We have structure being broken there. Then you see price came back beautifully now. So how will I be taking this trade now? So if you look at this region now, you see that the same thing repeats itself here. Then we have still another break of structure here now. So now by London section, if gold could do me this thing to come back here, I'll be looking for a long opportunity at that region. So I'll be looking for long opportunity inside this region here. If it can come back here, I think that will even give me more better entry. If it can come back here. So inside this region here, so I will be looking for long opportunity inside this region if gold can come back to this region. So now if I should get a long opportunity in that region, where will I be looking to take profit? First target should be here. Then second target is to target all this liquidity here. So I just want to run out the high of the Asian range. So you see, if I'm able to pick an entry, let's say at the middle of this now to here, this is about this is about 50 pips, 57 pips actually. This is about 57 pips. So which in exchange I'm having a stop loss of 14 pips. So this is about 1:3. So it's a very nice trade. So let's see how, if gold can be able to come back to give us good entry by 8:30, 8:20, 8:15, 9 o'clock or thereabout. So that's it for gold. So let's look at what pair do we have next here. Okay, BTC USD. So let's go to 4 hours. So yesterday I told you guys I don't have anything to do on BTC USD. I want to see if BTC USD can come down lower to this level here. If BTC USD can come back lower to the level here, then I'll be looking for buy opportunity. Then if that could not happen, I want to see BTC USD coming up to this region. Then that is where I'll be looking for short opportunity. I want to take out all this liquidity, then come back to here. I'll look for short opportunity. So now earlier this morning, I think on 2 hours. Is it on 2 hours? Okay, yeah, these are actually on 4 hours. So now I was expecting that okay, BTC is going to continue its bearish flow. If you watch, we keep on we created a high here, we created another lower high here. So this is more like a bearish order flow, right? So now I thought okay, this is a bearish order flow. So now my expectation was that okay, BTC should respect this region here, then push lower. Let's see if we can target this low and come back to this level where I can be able to buy. So it got into that region, picked up my entry, went into profit for a few pips. I think about 15 pips, yeah, went into profit by 15 pips. Let's go to lower time frame. Let me show you guys. Yeah, this was it. So this was my entry exactly. So you see, went into profit about 15 pips, went into profit about 15 pips, then it reversed and got me stopped out. This was my stop loss. I had a stop loss of about how many pips? Okay, 26, yeah, 26 pips. So got me stopped out. So what am I looking out for on what is it called, on BTC USD? So for now, nothing. I'm just on the sideline. Nothing. I'm not doing anything. So I'm seeing more like okay, they took out liquidity here. Maybe they want to start buying. I don't know for now. So let's see what happens by tomorrow. So this is basically what I have for you guys this morning. So if you have any question, you can actually unmute and ask. If you don't have any question, we call it up today. So I hope you guys have a very successful
Boss, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I said we don't do another USD card.
Yeah?
USD card.
I don't trade that pair.
So if there
is another person that trades it.
Okay.
If there's another person that trades it, the person can tell us, maybe he or she will display his screen.
Okay, thank you.
So, but just can you mute yourself, please? Follow the instruction I gave you on DXY. If DXY is going to buy, USD card is going to buy. Do you understand? If GSY is going to sell, USD card is going to sell. So just follow the instruction I gave you on what is it called, on DXY. Follow the instruction I give you on DXY. So whatever this does, USD card is going to do.